Hi everyone, Rory at Club and Painting Studio back with another video. Earlier this week I had some train journeys to go on, so I picked up a copy of War Games Illustrated, and lo and behold it came with a sprue of figures. So it's got some epic scale or 13.5mm or 15mm if you like, Prussian landwehr, part of the Waterloo box sets that Warlord are now doing. A wee while ago, as a commission, I painted some models to match the work of another painter. I don't know who that was, but it was an interesting challenge. Basically, it relied on using a black undercoat to provide all the shading all over the model, so only painting the raised areas and using that black undercoat as the shadows, and also to outline the different elements on the model. And I reckon that these techniques will work very well on the strips of models and would allow for really quick painting of a whole unit. The sprues are black. I have given them a quick spray of Army Painter Matte Black, and the first thing I'm going to do is give everything a dry brush with some Elfic Flesh from Vallejo Game Colour. It's going to highlight all the details to make it all look all a little bit easier to spot. You can already pick out the details there, which will make guiding the paintbrush a lot easier. Basically, wherever the dry brush has picked out the detail, we apply paint there. Wherever we've got a recess, leave it black. That's going to kind of be the rule that we're working for while we do these landwehr. I'm going to paint them as stylised landwehr, and that means we're going to go for yellow cuffs and collars. With an Army Painter character brush, I'm going to pick out the blue of the greatcoats with some Vallejo model colour dark Prussian blue. I'm not drowning the surfaces in paint. I am leaving fairly exaggerated lines of black where there are folds in the cloth. This is all going to add to that effect of the black lining. The caps the models are wearing need some blue as well. There is a band around the middle which is going to be in the facing colour of yellow, so I want to try and avoid that. There could also be a band of facing colour around the edge of the top of the hat, so when I bring the brush in with the blue, I will try and leave that area that's been picked up with a dry brush in that off-white colour. And back to the models, avoid the collars and leave the black in the deepest recesses. Faces and hands, I'm going to pick them out with Vallejo Extra Opaque Heavy Flesh, and we're going to try and pick out cheekbones and nose, and that's about it. We've got a nice recess for the eye. This guy has a beard, so we could paint that in brown or leave it as it is. Fingers, again just picking out the most prominent details. Okay, filled in the faces and hands, and with some Game Extra Opaque Heavy Ochre from Vallejo, going to pick out the facing colours in this sort of dark yellow. collar is more obvious at the back. Sticking to the extra opaque range from Vallejo, I have some heavy sienna. A couple of things we're going to pick out with this. Wood on the musket. Possibly beards and hair as well would benefit from being picked out. We have some axe hafts, for example, on the backs of the models as well. A few of the models have some bedrolls draped across their shoulders. These are over the left shoulder. I'll leave that black line in the middle. Really exaggerate the fold in the cloth. For straps on the model, I've got some Vallejo ivory. Leave the cartridge boxes in the black. I'll also use this on the trousers. It's occurred to me that I may have forgot to say that the grey that I used earlier was Vallejo Extra Opaque Heavy Blue Grey. For metallics, I've got some Army Painter plate mail metal. I'm going to leave the bands on the musket black for now. Do them in a brass. Have things like the axe heads to pick out on the back as well. Brass. This is Vallejo brass, and two of these bands on the musket. Other things you might want to pick out in brass are hilts and ends of swords. And with the brass bands done and attached to their base, here's a finished stand of Prussian landwehr. Now, it's a very stylized appearance. Having the black lines, especially amongst the folds of the white cloth, it's not particularly natural, but the advantage of this finish is that from the other side of the table, it's very easy to see where the different items of clothing and straps and bands on the musket, etc., all end, without having to use a wash and then highlight the colours back up. So it does need a bit of neat brushwork to get the colours in the right places, to leave some of the black paint in the recesses. But if you take a little bit of time and care over that, then you're saving time later by not having to re-highlight up after washing. If you want to see some really beautiful, excellently painted Epic Battles miniatures, head over to the Miniature Realms channel, and you can see how to really bring out the best of these models. But hopefully this is some food for thought, and if you want something that looks recognisable from 3 feet away, and then perhaps the black undercoat, an off-white dry brush, and then picking out the colours and letting the black do the work as the shading is an option for you. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.